joining us just right now, we are right outside the Kenya School of Monetary Studies, where the Association of African Anti-Corruption Authorities conference is happening. I'm happy to get to the general and so many other delegates from across the continent to speak about this. We've just launched a center right here today to research on these anti-corruption measures. So we now proceed. Please speak to us and inform our viewers, our consumers of our content, what today's event is about.
Okay, today's event is a gathering of the anti-corruption authorities in Africa, and specifically is to launch the School of Research and Innovation. As you know, the African continent is very specific, and the responses to corruption must also be specific to Africa. We hope that by this school we will be able to inform policy so that the responses that will target corruption or the anti-corruption strategies that we will come up with will be Africa-specific. As you know, corruption knows no borders and financial crime, and for that reason, jurisdictional responses cannot be effective. We have to respond as Africa. Many times the strategies that we have adopted sometimes are incubated elsewhere, and they don't have in mind the environment. For example, in Africa, we are still heavy in cash economy. We are an open economy. We are a cash economy. And sometimes the tools that our people use are different. Technology the uptake of technology is very high, but the response to technology is very expensive. No country can do it alone, and no country can do it without research. And for that reason, this center is going to develop data, come up with typologies. Typologies are ways in which people commit crimes, such that it will inform the responses that jurisdictions and regional bodies will employ in fighting corruption.
Great. Perhaps for the benefit of the viewer, I know the data is perhaps fragmented, but how much is lost to corruption, and how will this center help to combat this? I'm talking from a continental point of view before perhaps we cascade it down to Kenya.
I do not have the specific numbers, but I know that a big percentage, could even be more than 10% of the monies that are meant for development in the whole of Africa is lost to corruption, and also to illicit financial flows. Because of the instability of most countries in Africa, you find that people who are involved in corruption would rather stash their monies or invest elsewhere in Africa, in which case Africa is still not benefiting. So it's actually a very big number. I don't have the number, but I know it could be much more than 10%.
Thank you so much. Perhaps we now want to engage the AACC. Oh, all right. Okay. All right. Let's engage the president of AAACA, exactly. Please introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Sorry?
Please introduce yourself.
Okay. أنا اللي هو هشام الركايبي، الوكيل الأول هيئة الرقابة الإدارية ورئيس الأكاديمية الوطنية لمكافحة الفساد، وحاليا رئيس الاتحاد الإفريقي لهيئات مكافحة الفساد الإفريقية.
General Hasham Rakaibi, I am actually the first Undersecretary of Administrative Control Authority, Anti-Corruption Authority of Egypt, and I am now presiding the Association of Anti-Corruption Authorities of Africa.
All right, great. So what new innovative ways are we going to see to combat corruption in the continent?
الإجراءات كتيرة جدا اللي احنا بناخدها في الاتحاد.
There is lots of procedures that we are taking in the association.
واحنا بنجتمع النهارده للاجتماع تمهيدا للاجتماع الثامن للجمعيه العامه للاتحاد هيئات مكافحه الفساد الافريقيه.
This is the 8th reunion of the General Assembly of the Association.
والاجتماع ده يعني هو بالنسبه لنا بيواكبوا حدث مهم جدا.
And this meeting is very important because it coincided with another important event.
هذا الحدث متمثل في افتتاح مركز البحوث.
Which is the opening of the research center.
وتأتي أهمية المركز ده إن هو هيدعم بشكل كبير جدا إجراءات وسبل مكافحة الفساد.
The center is very important to improve and empower the African countries to fight against corruption.
وبتأتي أهميته إن هو هيبقى في تعاون كبير جدا ما بين كل الدول في العاملة في مجال مكافحة الفساد.
And of course, it will benefit the reinforcement of cooperation between all the African countries in the matter of fighting corruption.
لا سيما ان البورد بتاع السنتر هيضم أكاديميات مكافحة الفساد في عدد 6 دول تقريبا.
Especially because the board of director for this research center will be composed by 6 representatives of 6 African countries.
Great, thank you so much. Perhaps let's engage lastly AACC, kindly Bona Emeritus Bishop Karibu. Would like to... yes. Okay, great. Great. All right, we are live on NTV right now, and we'd like to get ESC's perspective on the launch of this research center. Bishop Emeritus, we are in a very crucial time in our country right now, especially as far as budget making process goes. Perhaps the most important, which has been the reading, and now we are now in the revenue raising measures. And one of the biggest loopholes for corruption has been budgeted corruption. We cannot ignore it, it's there. What is EACC doing, especially now with the launch of this center, to combat that?
Thank you very much. As has already been mentioned, corruption has gone digital. People are no longer stealing just cash. They steal through digital methods. And this makes even budgeting, you know, our budgeting is also digital. So it is very difficult for us to know whether monies has been put aside that some people are going to exploit unless you can actually try and dig that out. And one of the things that this center is going to help is to do research on trends that people are using across the continent for corrupt deals, so that you can identify, you can see red flags. If you look at, say, a budget, for example, it will be possible to identify that this looks like a deal that may be budgeted for corrupt deals. So then you are able to prevent that before it happens. You could raise it up in Parliament, or when the public participation is taking place, those kinds of issues can be raised. But when you are looking at it with your naked eyes, as we say, you may not be able to see it. So this kind of a center is very critical in helping us to know the new technologies, new trends, things that are happening globally, and what we can do about it and what others are doing.
Last but not least, ghost workers. I'm seeing SRC is a partner in this conference. I'd like you to speak about that and what the Commission is also doing to clean up the registry of employees for government and especially the public sector.
We, on matters of ghost workers, we have been working with the Public Service Commission in order to identify places and areas where people may be using ghost individuals to get the resources, mainly in the counties, but also in other government agencies. So the Public Service Commission, together with us as EACC, have been collaborating to ensure that this does not happen. We have also been working with the different government agencies in terms of system reviews, just looking at how a department or an agency is working so that we can identify loopholes that sometimes people exploit to bring in these ghost workers in their registries. So these are ways and means that we're using to try and seal those loopholes.
Thank you so much. One last question perhaps for the CEO of ESCC. Would like to engage him as we close this live broadcast. This conference will be going on for the next 3 days. We've started with a bang with the launch of this research center. What key take-homes and objectives should Kenyans expect after the 3 days?
First, let's understand this is an African Anti-Corruption Authorities workshop. It is not an ESCC workshop. ESCC is just one member of the many 43 other country members who will participate in this particular forum. The key take-home, other than the center that we've just launched, is the networking in terms of other African agencies sharing information and doing training together and benefiting from one another in terms of provision of information and data. As you may be aware, Africa now is trading with one another. Africans are no longer trading with foreign nations only. We are having a lot of trade between, for example, Kenya and Uganda, Kenya, South Africa, and many other countries. So it is important that the monies that are exchanged within the business sector is clean money. And that is where now these agencies come together, come up with a framework on how we are going to share information, how to make the mutual legal assistance easier. Because before you come to the actual legal assistance, if you have a network, informal network, where you can share information and information provided within the shortest period, the likelihood of that investigation succeeding is extremely high. So other than the center, we are here to build networks, work together, and come up with protocols that will be able to assist member countries.
Thank you so much, and we wish you all the very best. All right. Thank you. So if you're joining us right now, we are at the Kenya School of Monetary Studies, where we are following the first day of the AACA, which is taking place here, and we will be giving you updates as soon as they will be rolling out. Back to you in studio.
The parliamentary